Some of the most typical errors that we find on I-9 forms are: one, blank spots, an employer forgetting to fill in the first day of employment on Section 2. Another change to the I-9 form that we're finding is an error is at the top of Section 2, the employer is required to record the employee's name, their last name, first name, and middle initial at the top of Section 2. That's a change and something employers aren't used to, so we're finding that is being left blank quite often. Anytime that required information is left blank, that is something that an auditor could fine the employer for. It's important to remember that the errors need to be corrected in a very specific manner, or you're just correcting an error and making another error. So for example, if an I-9 has a blank spot on it, you can't just simply fill in, say, the missing date. You have to fill in the date and then initial the change, and also provide an explanation for why the change was made and attach that to the I-9 form. Another change would be if the incorrect information were entered into the form. Instead of whiting out the form, what you would do is draw a single line through that error, make the change, initial the change, and then attach an explanation as to why the change was made, when it was made, and who made it. In some cases, we really recommend that the employer complete a new I-9 form for that employee. So we would have the employee complete Section 1, the employer would complete Section 2 after the employee brings their original documentation in, and then we would attach the incorrect I-9 form, the one that was in the file, to the updated form, and also attach an explanation as to why, when, and how the changes were made. Our experience with most companies is that there's an error rate of between 50 to 100% with their I-9s. So what that means is if they are audited, the auditor is going to fine them for every single I-9 that has one or more errors on it. Fines for I-9 errors can range anywhere from $110 per form with at least one error on it, all the way up to $1,100 or more per form. So for example, a typical employer with 100 I-9 forms who's audited, and the auditor finds, say, 9 forms with errors, that would be a 9% error rate. That employer would be charged 9 times $110 or $990 as the fines for that particular audit. Their next door neighbor also has 100 I-9 forms, but their error rate is 51%. Those fines would then be $935 per form, not the $110 with the first employer, but because the error rate is so much higher, the employer would be charged $935 times 51, and you do the math, it's tens of thousands of dollars.